Good morning. I know this video is a little bit later than normal. We had a family day today, so excited, and my husband came up, and so we slept in just a little bit, got my son on the bus. But today, from encouragement and motivation from my heart, is more so focused towards focus. Something that seems so easy to say, but oftentimes for many is so hard to do. And I'm not just talking about focusing in on chores or focusing in on the tasks that you have to do for the day. What I'm talking about today is how to focus when you have so much going on around you and trials, and it could be the hardest thing. And oftentimes it's so easy to focus when you're not going through struggles, but when you're going through struggles we can tend to lose focus, and I do it. So today I have an acronym for you, just like the one time, if you guys have watched previous videos. Today the acronym is focus. So with focus, the F, we're going to talk about forward moving. So oftentimes when we get into a struggle or we're in a situation, it's hard to continue moving forward. We stop in our tracks, and then it's like a tornado is just sitting in our brain right on top of us, and all the things that could be connected to our struggle or current circumstance is just flashing right before our eyes. At least that's what it is for me. And so if somebody has wronged you, all the things that they have done before all come connected. If you're going through a devastation that you've never thought that you would have gone through before, all of the things that you would have, should have, could have, maybe have supposed to have done come flashing before your eyes. So the F, remember when you're trying to focus to continue moving forward and whatever the situation is. In order to move forward, though, you have to think on God's promises, and that's our O. So think on God's promises. God said he will never leave you nor forsake you. God said that the work that he began in you, he'll continue to the end. He's always looking out for you. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you. It is plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So focus on moving forward and on God's promises in the midst of your circumstances, your chaos, and your confusion. And I get it. It's hard when you're going through it. Even something as little as arguing with your kids or with your spouse, the last thing that's on your mind is focusing on God's promises. So try to remember to move forward and focus on God's promises. Which brings us to C. In order to focus on God's promises, sometimes we have to call to him for help, because when we are weak, that's when he is strongest. So call on his help. God says, all those who are weak and weary, I will give you rest. And he says, come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So he wants us to call on him for help. He's not going to come rushing in, because he's a God that gives us choice, and he's a loving God. So call on him for help. So we have F, forward moving, continue moving forward. O, focus on God's promises. C, call on him for help. U, understand. Now this is kind of two-part. So understand that God understands what you're going through, and understand that he works things out in his time frame. So it's not going to be in the time frame that we think, because he has this big perspective that he's looking at, and he sees all the things around, and he already knows what is going to happen each step that we take. So understand that God does have a plan, and that he understands what you're going through, and that he is right there, and that he has not forsaken you. Understand that he works things out in his timing. Now, the last thing is two words, stay and secure. So stay secure. And the thing that's funny about this is you can't stay secure unless you understand, and you can't understand unless you call on him for help. You can't call on him for help unless you focus on God's promises. You can't focus on God's promises unless you keep moving forward. So it's something that continues to cycle. Now, when I say stay secure, Isaiah 52:18 or 32:18 says, "Then my people will dwell in a peaceful place, in a safe and secure dwelling." All right, and it also says in order for us to stay secure, we also have to understand in Psalm 73 verse 16, it says, "When I tried to understand all this, it seemed hopeless until I entered God's sanctuary. Then I understood their destiny." So as you go out today, I want you to, when you're trying to focus, first, when everything seems chaotic around you, just remember the word focus. And when you remember the word focus, I want you to remember on forward moving, on God's promises, call on Him for help, understand that He understands and that it's going to happen in His timing, and stay secure in Him. Stay secure in all the promises, stay secure in the understanding, stay secure that He is going to help you. I know this was short, but I hope today that this acronym of focus can help you focus as you go throughout your day, whether at work, whether at home, or whether you're at the hospital with a loved one. Love you guys.